Let's tell you what happened today in the House of Representatives, where after the lawmakers, the federal lawmakers, frowned at the non-appearance of members of the service chiefs to explain the state of affairs in Nigeria's security. Eventually, service chiefs did appear, and they were defending and explaining what is going on in their different agencies, from Chief of Defense Staff to the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and Chief of Air Staff, and the Inspector General of Police all appeared before the federal lawmakers today. They were making demands and also asking for support in ensuring that Nigeria is safe. Allow you to listen to some of them.
Explosive devices confer advantage on an inferior force. And the classical example I used to use is when you have a force that use crude incendiary made with about 20,000 naira, destroying a tank purchased for about 1 million naira. Some of these encounters come at great cost, not only in equipment, but also in terms of personnel loss. There are a lot of Boko Haram elements that have been captured and have been kept. We have kept them for over 5-6 years. We, the armed forces, cannot prosecute. We can only provide protection for them. Some of them have been found to be wanting, but no prosecution. So we are keeping them for this lengthy period. Everybody accusing the armed forces of keeping them against their human rights, but we cannot prosecute. You do all your efforts. You make an arrest. You hand over. Before you enter your vehicle, the man is released on bail.
What the citizens want is performance. They want us to serve them. We are willing to serve them, but we need your cooperation. We need funding. We need more manpower. We need logistics. We need to train our men adequately. We need to improve the welfare of our officers. We want a well-motivated workforce in the police.
Well, those are some of the sound bites from members of the service chiefs and the Inspector General of the Police today at the House of Representatives. Tonight, I'm being joined by the chairman of the House Committee on Defense, Honorable Babajimi Benson. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Shell.
Would you say you were impressed by the appearance and the presentation of the service chiefs and the IG?
Absolutely. So it takes me back to the judgment in appointing them. First of all, they all cost 39, the three of them, the Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff. They all got into NDA together. They all shared the same room. Yeah, the Chief of Defense Staff is cost 39. So there's camaraderie, there's synergy, and they all gave an excellent account of themselves, despite the initial issues we had with them because they didn't turn up due to unforeseen reasons at the last scheduled dates. They came today, and we were thoroughly impressed with their presentation.
We could only see and hear what happened in the full glare of cameras, but there was an executive session behind the door, conversation that you had with them. Does that have to do with issues of what they lack, or what do you think that, what would you say the executive session was about?
Number one, we had to go into closed door because they are security chiefs. Even having the 4 of them or the 5 of them in a location alone, there's a bit of risk in that. And also the information they're going to provide, right? Our enemies are watching, both internally and externally. Whatever they say may be used against the nation. On some occasions, they've explained to me that they've been to some forests where they see kidnappers or Boko Haram people or insurgents watching TVC or watching channels. So those guys, our enemies, also watch what's going on. So information has to be properly preserved. You understand? So that's why the speaker in his wisdom said we should have an executive session.
Right.
And I believe that's the right thing to do.
I was laying a premise on the past summit, lessons learned. And there are those who will say, these are just talk shops that have not really amounted to anything. And all of this conversation, before we get into the meat of today, as those conversations from the summit under Gbajabiamila and the one before it, what have we learned from all of those things?
Yes, we've learned that the legislature is the house of the people. 360 members from various federal constituencies. So they have informed knowledge of what's going on within their constituencies. And we've also learned that an all-society approach is the best way to tackle insecurity. So over the years, resolutions have been passed, reports have been written to the federal government, and I must tell you that majority of those reports have been hearkened to, which informed why the synergy, why we are able to accept the supplementary budget and pass it in record time. So there is a symbiotic relationship with the legislature and the executive when it comes to security issues.
Now, let's go to today's engagement. They made some very, very, very far-reaching demands. For example, in terms of personnel, is the country able to now engage new personnel? 190,000, that's what the IG says he needs, the number of police officers that he says he needs. What was the response of the House to him today?
So there are two ways you can look at it. If you hire 190,000 personnel, it means you have to create you have to build barracks and all other infrastructure to support the 190,000 recruitments. The other way we can look at it is the limited amount of policemen we have. Can we adequately equip them with technology, with infrastructure, both software and hardware, to make them more nimble? So that's the discussion we're going to have post today. Either recruit more or either invest more in technology, right? But no doubt, we've also come to the conclusion that the armed forces are not trained for internal security issues. The armed forces are trained to shoot in the head and the heart, right? So the real is the police or the civil defense team that are supposed to be doing internal security. So critically, we know that they have to wind down on internal security issues. So the police have to ramp up as well in recruitment and in purchase of technology. That was an agreement we all reached today.
What did the House agree, and what was the takeaway? What do you think that you were going to do immediately for these men who are making these demands?
Yeah, the takeaway again is that the envelope system we're using to fund the armed forces and the police is inadequate. Yeah, no country funds its budget based on an envelope system. So we've also agreed to initiate bills that will set up an armed forces trust fund. Yes, whereby we'll find an alternative way of funding. We have issues. So anytime there are issues, you find out that insecurity goes up. We have issues from good governance is coming to be. Unemployment issues are there, and all that exacerbates insecurity. So we're trying as much as possible to find ways of mitigating what's going on. So non-kinetic means have been proposed. That is, we thought of ramping up urging the National Orientation Agency to be more proactive in reaching out to Nigerians and selling hope to them. We also talked about power. Thank God our president is in Germany now. We heard the ambassador speak about the Siemens deal. You know, our country is hovering on about 7,000 megawatts. If the power deals can come through, right, we ramp up to about 20,000 megawatts, it will throw up the economy to more jobs, more opportunities, and more hope, more employment. GDP is currently about $500 billion with enough energy, he said, by first quarter. The non-kinetic solutions will come to bear, and that insecurity will be less.
So, yes, there's a need to pump more money into security, and the biggest military funders in the world are the big boys. Mm-hmm. Your United States, mm-hmm. your China, mm-hmm. your Russia, mm-hmm. they're the ones saying as the world powers. Mm-hmm. But again, the question is, all in this country, I mean, just recently, one of the military chiefs in China is being prosecuted for corruption on procurement on military gears. But in Nigeria, there are those who have raised eyebrows about procurement and the manner in which monies have been spent for defense and procurement. And, but is there some kind of audit going on in the manner in which this money is spent? There are those who have come up with research to say this money that are being taken and by corruption out of the military is being used to fund Boko Haram.
I don't believe that's true. I'll give you an example. We just passed a supplementary budget of about 600 billion naira. If you convert that to dollars, that'll be about $600 million, right? That can buy, that would only buy a few gadgets in the present state of the world. And in buying those few gadgets, you're competing against other countries who want to acquire same equipment. There's a war going on in Russia, Ukraine, Israel-Palestine war. So everybody is chasing hardware equipment that are not existent. So I don't believe that monies are evaporate, like you said, because military procurements are also done by LCs. LCs are open. The government has encouraged government-to-government transactions. So I believe those disappearances are few.
There are those who are being in charge of our military, Honorable, that are being prosecuted because of monies that are being budgeted for military procurement. Let me give you instance, because my question has a premise and I have a background and I have a support for it. So Transparency International, some years back, around 2017, 2018, had come out to say they found that Nigerian military officers and politicians in some elite have enriched themselves by diverting money that was spent to fight terror. In fact, at that time, the vice president had come out to say that about 15 billion US dollars was lost on fraudulent arms procurement deals alone. This is in Nigeria.
What year was this?
This was in 2017.
2017. Oh. That's news to me. I oversight the committee. I haven't seen any of such money disappear. The last audit we had this last supplementary we did was for the $1 billion arms purchase, which we used to buy the Tucano. And most of those transactions were LC based. You know, so Transparency International, I need to verify that document again.
I'll send you the report. Yeah. And maybe it will be good for your own read.
Exactly.
And also, for the sake, I mean, we do not have this money as a people.
Exactly.
So why will this money that's supposed to be used to secure the nation goes into the hands of a few people benefiting, and yet, and in the other way around, making the enemy to attack us more? Now, there is another angle to all of this, is the issue of intelligence gathering, surveillance. A lot of people will say, nobody march around the cities and in the bushes any longer. surveillance. Is Nigeria looking into technology in fighting insecurity in this country?
Oh, yes. Like I always say, they said to us again today about the all societies approach. In other countries, in other neighboring countries, if a stranger walks into the territory, everybody knows. The gendarmes are informed and blah, blah, blah. So that's why I said the Nigerian Orientation Agency as well needs to do proper enlightenment so that Nigerians can be their brother's keeper. Technology is also being assiduously looked at. Purchases of drones and other devices, smart intelligence is being deployed so that this insecurity intelligence gathering will be assiduously pursued.
Which country are we partnering with? Because there are countries that have been successful in manning their borders. I mean, there are several ungovernable sites within the Nigerian territory. Are we partnering? What are the possibilities? What are we saying? What countries are we talking to? Who are our partners?
Oh, the good thing is that Nigeria is a non-aligned country. So we have a lot of people we're talking to. We have Pakistan, we have India, we have the US, we have the UK. And good enough, they are homegrown technology that we're using. We have a couple of companies that have showcased the local border manning devices they've developed. Good enough, Mr. President is about to sign the DICON bill. That will also give teeth to our homegrown solutions to addressing these issues.
Interesting. So in all of this, what did the service chief tell you about the major gains since they got appointed?
Yeah, there are a lot of gains. They spoke about the local lessons learned. They spoke about local Nigerian companies doing great things. They spoke about purchases they've made from local Nigerian companies. They spoke about Profos. They spoke about some other Nigerian companies that patronize. They patronize them from helmets, they patronize them from bullet, body shields, hardware, software, and things like that. Border manning devices and co. So the lessons learned positive. That is ongoing. We also spoke about the great thing that the Army engineers are doing in fixing the hardware when the imported hardware. So we're gaining, and very soon, with the signing of the DICON bill, lessons learned will also be exported very soon.
I mean, Nigeria has spent, those who have calculated, I don't have the exact figure, but spent quite a reasonable amount of money in fighting Boko Haram. Those who believe that there are perhaps other ways other than boots on the ground and bullets in the air to fight these elements. And perhaps psychologically, there are other ways that have been suggested, alternative measures that they have thought about in addressing some of these challenges, security-wise.
Question again?
Did they come up with alternative means of fighting other than the usual military?
Yeah. We spoke about non-kinetic. Kinetic is the fighting. Non-kinetic are using soft issues, soft power, orientation, indoctrinating, de-radicalizing them, education, power.
Would that work
good governance
in the Northwest, for example, where we see banditry?
It will work because, like we always say, that nobody wants his or her daughter to be a bandit or a Boko Haram. The causal effect is lack of hope. If there's hope, there's good governance. If there's education, there's healthcare. If areas that are ungovernable become governable, yes, this will fizzle out. Show me a country where there is insecurity. You will see issues with struggling with governance. Show me a country with lower insecurity. You will see countries with good governance. So Nigeria is ramping up on its good governance index. You can see that the president is not sitting in one place. He's going from one place to the other, looking for investment, looking for how the lives of Nigerians will get better. Yeah.
But in terms of figures, I mean, and the graph of crime and violence in Nigeria, were they able to convince you that they've been working?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there a drop?
There's a leap into progress. We've seen assiduous progress in what they've done till date. They've only been on the saddle for 6 months, and they gave us assurances, and we have a bit of hope, or we're still watching them. But we feel that the team, the synergy they exuded, the confidence they exuded, we feel that they have something good to offer.
Thank you so much. Honorable Babajimi Benson, the chair of the Committee on Defense in the House of Representatives. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.